Is DABABY in his new song Tough Skin using the cross of Christ as a mockery? This is what we're all going to answer today in this video in Look and Live. Please stay tuned. Okay friends, welcome back. My name is Pastor James Devallon. In this video, we are going to examine the song by the artist DABABY. Let me pull that on your screen here, where he is on a cross, and the picture shows that DABABY has bruises on his body, very similar to what Jesus says. And many in the Christian community feel some type of way about this, that this is another one of those mockery that artists like to use the cross of Christ just to ridicule Christian, or at least the Christian God, Jesus Christ. Is this what's going on here is my big question. First of all, let's look at what's happening in the song. When you go to the song, DABABY-TOUGH Skin official video, it shows DABABY. The title begins with tough skin, DABABY on a cross, wearing jewelries and so on. And there it shows him, and also there are a number of red guys standing there. I'm guessing these individuals represent these enemies of some sort, the people who are giving him a hard time. But one thing you notice in the song, the scene keeps on changing, where he goes from the cross to a scene where little DABABY is telling somewhat of his life story. And they're showing you in the background him and his siblings fighting back and forth when he was young, and the story is being told. And again, the title of the song is Tough Skin, in a sense that he has tough skin. He is not afraid. He's gone through a lot of bad experiences. He had strong family heritage and so on. And some of these experiences have made him the man that he is today. And swinging back to the crucifixion scene, where these guys in red are going after him and they're saying a number of things. He speaks of his mother, his father, his cousin, his brothers, and so on. When you go to the lyrics tells a lot about an artist, and one thing that is very good to do is to read into the chorus. The chorus tells you everything you need to know about the song, because the heart of the song is the chorus. Tough skin. Growing up in that struggle made me have tough skin. My mother and my big brother made me have tough skin. My uncle and my big cousin made me have tough skin. Yay. This and that tough skin. Yeah, that is. I am talking tough skin. N-word. I watch my mama have some tough skin. N-word. I watch my mama have that. That's why I have my problems and I live them tuck. And that's why I take my problem and cause the world, and I don't care nothing about. I don't give a blank. Yay. Then yay, this tough skin. Yay, boom, I'm talking tough skin. Growing up in that struggle made me have tough skin. So he went back up once again with the same lyrical bars. So in the song, it is very obvious this man is talking about his childhood experiences and how these things have made him the man that he is today. Another thing to keep in mind, it is not a new thing for artists to use the cross of Christ. We know this is happening in the music industry a whole lot. So DABABY is not the first person to use the cross to symbolize and to accompany his particular message. For example, I used to listen to Nas when I was much younger. He has a song where he is talking about carrying a cross in his album God's Son, which that's a little bit concerning, but nevertheless, we're gonna leave that aside for now. He says, I carried a cross in the lyrics. If Virgin Mary had an abortion, I'll still be carrying the chariot by stampeding horses, and I had to bring it back to New York, and I'm happy that the streets is back in New York. For you rappers, I carried a cross. So according to him, he is carrying the cross for the hip-hop industry. All right, he's not the only one. Dax, in his song Dear God, he carries a cross, but here Dax is not blaspheming God. He is using the cross as a symbolism of his struggle of faith, questioning the authority, questioning God, and looking for answers. In this cross, he is just talking about his own life experience, very similar to what Jesus says, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Little Dicky also had a song where he performed and he was on a cross. In this particular song, with the lyrics in itself, it was very obvious he was making fun of Jesus, mocking the Christian God. I thought that one was very disrespectful, and I did make a video about that one. I thought that was weird that he would use the cross of Christ in that sense. But here's a number of things that we have to be careful. Going back to the big question, is Little Dicky making fun of the Christian God or the cross of Christ? A lot of Christians went on to make videos about this. I'm gonna say I don't think that's what's happening here. When you look at the lyrics as well as the imagery, and you kind of bring those two together, this is what you have to do when you listen to an artist. First of all, I'm not going to condemn an artist because he's using a cross. Well, if you want to use the cross, you can. Now, what do you mean by using the cross? Because the cross doesn't belong to Jesus. Like, let's be honest. The cross was used by the Assyrians way before. The Romans actually perfected the use of the cross, and Jesus did die on the cross. Even after the death of Jesus, many of the early apostles were crucified, including Peter, who died upside down on the cross. So we need to have a balanced perspective as Christian when we're talking about the cross of Christ. What the artist is trying to say by using God's cross, very contrary to what Little Dicky does in his song, making fun of Jesus, including in his lyrics while using the cross, more like as a way of saying this is just a mockery, making fun of not Jesus, but he's really making fun of himself. You can't really make fun of Jesus because Jesus is who he is. You can't undo him. What you do, you make fun of yourself and maybe the Christian, but ultimately you making yourself look bad. But nevertheless, so before I say Little DABABY was using the cross of Christ here as a way of making fun of Jesus, I will disagree with that. I don't think that's what's going on here. He is telling his life story. He's telling about his struggles, how he has tough skins, and he's using the cross as a way to represent that, which means struggle, tough time, toughness, right? That makes me a man. And that is actually not a bad idea, because I think in a world where so many men have lost their manliness, if I may use that word, we have lost our manhood. Men are becoming women. Men are just identifying as this. Men are easily offended. Every little words that are said to us, you know, somebody tweets something, you want to lose your mind. You want to have somebody canceled and things like that. You know, many comedians are being attacked, like Dave Chappelle, just because people can take a joke. You see, we don't have tough skin anymore. We are so easily offended, and I think it's actually very sensitive type of men that we have today. So to have a man that is speaking about manliness, toughness, hard, difficult time that he's been through in his life, in his childhood, that make him the tough man that he is today. That is his message, and I think that's a positive message, if you were to ask me. While I do not endorse his music, I don't endorse his lifestyle, I do not want to portray him as if he is an example to my sons and daughters. What I will say, that particular message in itself is not a bad one, comparing to how many bad messages that are out there in the hip-hop industry. So I don't condemn that. And if you want to use two pieces of wood in the form of a cross to proclaim that message, whatever. I don't care what you do. I don't care, because that's you. Maybe you want to use it for your own purpose, just to tell your story. Fine. I know he is not Jesus, and I know there is nothing he could do to undo my belief in Jesus Christ. But here's the thing. There were so many sceneries here as well. But if you look at the video carefully, his mother even appeared in the video, showing where he was on fire and so on. So he was being persecuted. So he was crucified. And his families, I'm guessing this is either his father or uncle in the song here. Maybe this is his brother. It looks so much like his brother. Anyway, it seems like what he is going through, his families seems to be they are very aware of it. They are sympathizing with him, they are understanding his struggle, but yet again he is talking about having tough skin. So the man has tough skin, and he has a family who took him through so much so that he can endure the hardness that are going on in his life. And let's be honest, this is happening in some of our neighborhood. Children go through difficult times, and now they are tough men. If that's a positive message, if you were to ask me, as long as we're not killing one another, as long as we are not shooting one another, I think it's okay. Especially if you've gone through difficult times and now you got a story to tell as helping others to be better people. I think it's a great thing. I'm not sure if that's what he is doing as an individual. I don't have evidence of that. But in this particular message, using the cross of Christ, two pieces of wood put together. Yeah, you wanna talk about tough skin while using the cross? To me, I just don't care. It's not that big of a deal. I think sometimes we make too much of a deal out of nothing. When you go to the Bible, it's good to keep in mind a lot of people in the world don't know anything about Jesus. So as a result, we cannot judge them the way we judge Christian, right? First of all, a person, what we have here is in Philippians 3:18 tells us, for many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now I tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of the cross. Some people are the enemies of the cross. We have to understand that if a person does not believe in Jesus and think the cross of Christ is foolishness, it's just that they're enemies of the cross at this stage of their lives. And guess what? Every one of us at one stage of our lives, we're enemies of the cross. Maybe you're listening to this video, maybe you're an enemy of the cross. You don't know what it means to you. You have no serious significance. It has no significance to you. In 1 Corinthians 1:18 tells us that for the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us that are saved it is the power of God. So to some people the cross is just foolishness. They don't know what that means. It's just nonsense. Like, what do you mean a person died on a cross and I'm supposed to believe in him? You see that? So some people who don't believe in Jesus, they don't know who Jesus is. It does sound like a message that doesn't make sense if you're hearing it for the first time. But when you understand who Jesus is, right? When you understand you are a savior, when you understand that the death of Christ, he was paying for the price of your sin. He was giving you a second chance. He was giving you life eternal. He was taking the death that you deserve upon himself on the cross. Then the cross has significance. You understand what I'm saying? So an artist who don't understand this, I ain't worrying about him. I'm gonna pray for him. And it says, and that he might reconcile both unto God one body in the cross, having slain the enemy thereby. So by the cross of Christ, God reconciles us in one body, which referring to the church, the kingdom of God, and the enemy has been slain, referring to it's really sin that has been slain by the cross of Christ. So on the cross, Jesus slain sin, right? It slains it, but this slain is a spiritual slaying of sin that happens in the heart of those who believe in Jesus. So when I become a Christian, sin no longer has dominion over me because I'm no longer under the law. I'm under the grace of Christ. So therefore I can overcome sin. I can obey God's law because the enemy has been slain. So we can understand that because I'm a Christian. But a person like the baby who does not understand the Bible, maybe he does, maybe he has a story, maybe he understands something of Christianity. I would say maybe he does. Maybe his mother might have brought him up in a church. Maybe he just deviated, went into the music industry and so on. But that message of the cross is probably in his heart, and that's probably why he's using the cross to tell his story. These are things we need to think about. Instead of condemning the artist, maybe we should understand the artist is trying to say something. He's not trying to come up after the Christian church. I think we need to stop playing the victim sometime as Christians and just let people be people because of who they are in their journey that they're on. For me, I would say let's focus our attention on the cross and now understand his significance as far as the person of the cross, which is Jesus, and what he did on that Calvary cross for me. Let's never lose sight of that for ourselves, to go after people who are using the cross to tell their story. Maybe it's just art, maybe it's mockery, maybe it's just an expression, maybe it's a mean of telling their story. You determine what that is, but as for me, I see nothing here to get mad about. I'll leave that alone. Pray for artists like this. I did not see in his lyrics any blasphemy. I did not see anywhere where he said anything bad about God. But in his lyrics, he does appear to be using the cross to express his life story. Whatever. So tell me what you think. I could be completely wrong. That's my perspective on that. Let me know what you think about that. And as always, remember to look unto Jesus, live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.